So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys some tips for beginners. This isn't so much how like the controls or basic gameplay systems. I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty, like sort of tips on how to smooth out your game and how to deal with things. And some of this was covered in my videos, so some of it might be familiar, but this is just meant to be like a rapid-fire amalgamation. So I'll get right into it. First of all is dealing with jump-ins. Jumping in is the most common thing you'll find as a beginner. Like that. They'll just keep jumping at you. I'll show you the main way to deal with it, is dashing under like that. Dashing under blows up all the jumps, but you have to have sort of the nerve to do it. And you have to get used to the timing, see. Oops. So if you cross under a jump, you get full combo, and that can dissuade bad jumps. So, hard knockdown, you can dash under too, and that's what I wasn't doing in the tournament either. So I was letting Mega Man get away with just all sorts of Okazemi. Meanwhile, if you go look back, he was trying to cross under, and he got away from Lisa quite a bit. Even a micro walk like that. And let's say you have, let's see. And when you have an Okazemi situation, the timing is everything. See, I didn't do it right, and he managed to get out, even though I caught him again. And another thing that you might not know, if I can lure him over here, is that when you cross someone under, that you can keep running if you keep holding forward. And that's a good way to run away. And you block while you're running. Now for a tall stand like this, it might be better to sidestep, but sidestepping is riskier. But you saw right there. Oops. I might have to edit this heavily. Try it again. Yeah, so it depends on when they push the attack button, because you can only sidestep attacks, so until they press an attack, the jump is going to home in on you. So again, changing up the timing of things is going to alter what happens. And that's good if like, D4C is really tall, Polnareff is really tall, Wamu is really tall. And tall characters have less time to not only react to overheads, especially instant overheads, but also, like, they might have trouble crossing under. I'll try crossing under with D4C. He can do it a bit better, but in like a tighter situation, like Okazemi, it might not cut the mustard. Also, another way to deal with jump-ins, of course, is an anti-air. You might not have an invincible one. Let's see if Valentine can do this, but maybe you can jab him out of the air. Yep. Oops. Well, that time didn't work. Some characters you might not be able to. I know Hermes has a great one. And of course, oh, what am I thinking? Just a second. Valentine has his 2M. He's also, whoops. He's also got his, he's got like 3 different levels of it. It's pretty great. But those 3 things help you deal with jump-ins, because I know it's not always good to just try and jump out of things, because someone like Josuke will, Josuke 4 will just tag you out of the air and just continue with his pressure. Now, if there's no questions about that, so dashing under is the universal. It's the universal way of dealing with jump-ins because they're so strong. If you can work up the nerve and just practice against the computer, and it is an experience thing because every character has different options out of jump, and they have different jump speeds and jump arcs. So someone like Jonathan and Cars, they're really tough to cross under sometimes. But if you're sharp, that's the best option. And when you get used to a character's jump arc like that, you can just... yeah, just like that. So, another way to smooth out your game is with stand characters. If you mash stand on and stand off, you get sort of, it's okay. But, holding forward or back makes the animation cancel a little bit quicker, so here it was before. And maybe you can time it based on the circles, but holding it forward and back, as you can see, is a faster way of going stand on, stand off. And that's good in a pinch, but it's also, if you notice any combos where in the middle of it you go stand on, this is how it connects, this is how it links to the next move. For example, and this is another tip, is very delayed jumping normals, like this. Dio is a good example. Recover very quick. Specials done, air moves done close to the ground recover very quickly. So, for example, whoops, let me see. Yep, that linked. Yep. So that's a good way of transitioning from stand off to stand on. Oops, come on. I didn't do it that time. It's easier with Jotaro. Yeah. You can see what I'm talking about. And in general, if you don't go stand on, you get a lot more time to just dash forward. So if you find yourself like doing a neutral jump and just tagging them, like that, like a jump backward, something like that, don't leave damage on the table. Right? Because this is what you could have gotten. Something like that. And it's good for Okazemi too. Because that becomes really ambiguous. right? Low mid throw. Also, one last thing about stand on and stand off is that Dio is a more extreme example, but you can see instantly how much space is created or taken away just by having a stand out. So for Dio, it makes one or two character widths either appear or vanish. If I can get Trick Josuke to jumping. Just a second. I almost did it right there. Yeah. But you can try this one last time. Yeah, see that? That's a good example. I didn't quite get the punish there. Let me try one more time. Something like that. You saw that I tagged him. But of course at neutral, you might not always get, you know, full combo, like rotation cancel stuff. But that's so useful. And finally, I might have to switch the bow for this. Alright, let me see. Yay, I did it! Did you see that? The stand-on shimmy. But, yeah, the invincibility of the stand, and because of Dio's big stand, the animation pushed him out. I want to do it one more time, but I got the footage for stands. This quick stand on. Joe Mama Joestar, thanks so much. So, people sleep on quick stand on. But if you go back to what I was saying about holding forward and back. Ooh, another follow. Gentry the big man, thanks. It allows you to cancel quick stand on just that much quicker. For stuff like that. So, quick stand on becomes a little bit safer if you get into the habit. Oops. That's all I gotta say about stands and how to smooth them out a bit. And don't sleep on quick stand on in general, because they can give you new block strings. They're a bit riskier, but, or if you whiff something, you can quick stand on and be safe. Hopefully you don't have to spend a whole bar just to block. So experiment with that. Because meter's everything in this game. So, movement. The difference between sidestepping left and right. You saw an example of why you should consider sidestepping with Valentine. The way I sidestepped that guy's jump. That can be a good way of getting out of the wall. So, sidestep up or left is shorter but it's faster. It recovers faster. Sidestep down or sidestep right is slower, but it covers a little bit more space. So if you need a big chunk, you might need this, or something quick. Now, again, like stand on, stand off, is that trying to mash this on its own is kind of slow, but if you hold forward or back and time it right, still takes a little bit of timing. Especially this down one, you have to really time it, but it helps to hold forward and back. But you can see it's noticeably much faster. This one, you really have to time it well, but you can see it right here. So holding forward or back will make sidestep and cancel just a little bit quicker. And again, not doing it, you see it's like twice as slow. So keep that in mind. And it's especially important if you want to like sidestep block. Also, one last thing about this is that holding forward or back will inch you forward or backward as you sidestep, since you're naturally holding forward or back, right? And you see I'm sidestepping into the screen, but I'm moving backward. And I'm slowly moving forward when I sidestep in. So keep that in mind. Also, if you don't know, I think I mentioned this before, but sidestep only sidesteps during an attack, not during movement. Otherwise, you just sort of rotate around. So it's like Virtua Fighter. And it's important for things like getting away from the wall, and sidestepping projectiles, and very linear moves. Some characters are strong, but they're linear, so you want to get around them. Otherwise, they get really powerful. It's really big advantage if you don't sidestep against characters like Kakyoin, Naranja, Hall Horse, Akira. Now for forward and back dash. Forward dash, if you mash it, you get a wave dash. Backdash you can't really mash. It's unreliable. But forward dash, you can wave dash. And this, for a lot of characters, it's faster than running. So if you got it, like, if you have to get someplace quick, something like that would be faster than running. For backdash, you have to get used to the animation and do sort of like a galloping backdash, like and that sort of makes it cancel a bit quicker. An extreme version would be Wamu, because his backdash is built like a Tekken character. Very short, but recovers very fast. So it's like a Korean backdash. Maybe I'll show you that later. You saw at the end there, I managed to get it. It's a tougher skill to backdash quickly, and you're completely vulnerable while backdashing too, so you really have to get a grasp of spacing. Otherwise you get blown up. One thing that gets with, really gets to people with this game and makes it feel clunky is that you cannot attack, it will not register an attack during a forward dash or a back dash. If you need to dash forward and attack immediately, you can cancel a run at any time, even at the very beginning. So what you want to do, and Diavolo players have to do this for his B&B combo, is hold forward when you forward dash, and then cancel the run as soon as possible. See, I'm not doing it correctly. You have to really get in the groove and get to know your character. Because again, everyone's forward dash is different. And that's good for punishing things. Because jumping is slow. It's slower than dash. Just little things like that. So if you're dropping a combo that requires a forward dash, it's probably because you're inputting things too fast. And of course, above all else, you know, you want to get used to your character. Like Bruno's an extreme example, but you don't sleep on movement techniques that help you get around the stage. Like that. You know what I mean? Other characters like Cars, his 2H, his base form 2H is like a weird, like, forward slide type of thing that can go under some things, like really high projectiles or the like. You'll see with Jonathan in a second. So some characters, like if some normals in that have a lot of forward momentum, you can use that to sort of subtly get into place and then cancel it into a special or something to get the punish. So think about that. But another reason I picked Bruno is that in this game you can TK or Tiger Knee air moves. And for example, Bruno's zipper arm on the ground is Ryu's fireball, quarter circle forward attack. But if I were to keep going and go into up forward, then I can do his air moves really close to the ground. Otherwise, if you try to just jump and do the air fireball, you know, you can't do it close to the ground. But see how it ends on diagonal? And then I wait until I time it so I press the button after he's in the air. So down, down, forward, forward, up, forward. And then the L in the air, it buffers it in. And this is a good sort of poke, because it's long range. It recovers quick. If he blocks this, by the time he's done blocking, I can move again. If you do it close enough to the ground. Whereas opposed to if I just do it normally, I have more lag, I have more recovery. And because I'm doing this in the air, it covers, the angle covers, it can stuff jumps. And I can do it, I can play with the timing and get one really close to the ground, or one a little bit higher. So it gives you much, much more control. And doing something right off the ground, as I said earlier, like really close to the ground, it takes a lot of timing. That recovers even faster. Let me see if I can, yeah, something like that. And that's good for characters like Kakyoin because you jump back and do an air interval splash just off the ground. So that'll help you smooth things out too, and play more neutral, and play with the frame data a bit more. Because I know that's something that people feel this game is lacking. So just thinking about this stuff will give you, like, this is basically another tool now, this TK zipper. and you think about it differently than like just a regular air zipper. And you can do something like this, or tag them, and then be really close to the ground. Like that. Recover quick. So this game is a 3D game, and that one of the big criticisms is combo variety. Different combos in this game serve different purposes, and you have to have a purpose behind it. If your goal is to do as much damage as possible, there isn't too much room to style, but there's reasons to do different combos, and it has to do with positioning and meter management. First, to start off, just to expand on the last part, Jonathan's 6H is a tackle, but it's a command normal, so you can cancel it into a special. So what this thing is in the end is a fully armored dash that can attack, and you can cancel it. So it's like a special cancelable dash, forward dash. It kind of breaks the rule that I mentioned earlier. So you can see the application. It also, one of the big things, because the wall, I'm sure you've experienced, one of the big things is wall carry. You want to carry your opponent as far, if you're an open stage, carry them all the way to the wall, because that's a nasty place to be if you're on defense. Luckily, Jonathan has a few different ways. He has his tackle, which is the easiest but lowest damage, and you can see it just sends him hurtling. An offshoot of this would be to realize that this move recovers faster than his tackle. So what you could do is, and that lets you get to him closer. But if you can try and find a combo that is designed to carry them as far as possible, then you can do wall carry and do a big chunk of damage. So for example, this rotation cancel combo basically more than doubles it and gives you a chunk of meter. But also, let's see if I can do this. Come on. That's no good. But you see right there, that was from downtown all the way to back wall, all the way to side wall. And if you, another one, sorry, just to conclude, doing a wall carry combo is like a double bonus. You do damage and you get them into a place that's at most advantage to you and most disadvantage to them. Now, as an offshoot as that, let's say I have my back to the wall. The best way to switch sides if you're a punish, universally, is a back throw. And see, now things are reversed. But if you can find a combo that switches sides, that's even better, because now it's even more of a punish. Oops, oh, I did it. Hold on, one more try. See, now that did almost a full combo's worth of damage, and now sides are switched. And you might be asking yourself, well, why don't I just easy beat? Because it's simple. Oops. Hold on. So, some people feel that it's just better to easy beat because it's simple. And I'll show you the difference. One bar, right? So 356, that's pretty good. He built a little bit of meter back. But if I do something just a little bit more challenging, like his rotation cancel combo. Oops, hold on. That did almost 500. Let me show you the meter difference. If I do rotation cancel. See, he has more meter. He has like over half of a bar left. That half of a bar, what that means to you is 2 extra EX moves for Jonathan, and EX moves are a huge cornerstone of what makes him scary. But even then, rotation cancel requires you to be right up to his face. But if you spent that bar of meter just to get in or start a combo, then you still have high damage and you build more meter back. So even something like this. So 256, that's about a 300 damage combo. And I still gained all the meter back. And if you noticed, I attacked from all the way back here. So what happens is I spent a bar not to do a super, but to turn one of my moves into a combo starter. And to go back to tie things all up together, that poke from the tackle. So you should be able to see now that opting to use meter in different ways is way more meter efficient, and it makes your tools much more deadly. Because as it stands right now, not only am I getting combos off of long pokes, but Jonathan is all about his low mix-up, his mid mix-up. So it's much more rewarding than this to mix him up with a mid and do his RC. Or do his low do his RC, because in the end this is doing only half a bar a meter, so 0.5 combo is rivaling a full bar combo or easy beat. And of course with EX moves, you can't forget EX moves, because at the side wall he gets extra bonus because he doesn't need to spend a bar meter, the wall catches him. So for about half a bar, I'm getting, or even a quarter of a bar, if I can get this right. Oops, I did the wrong version. Even for a quarter of the bar, It doesn't want to work, but even then, with that combo not hitting, 337 for a quarter, and it could have done more. And that's part of the reason why you want to get them to the wall, to bring it back to wall carry. Is because it gives you new combo opportunities. Like that. And of course there is infamous, back wall combos. Something like that. You can use meter to do a taunt combo. Yeah, like that. That's another way of using meter and doing combos. And you can, if you're tricky, you can do something like a reset at the wall. That gives me another mix-up into another combo. So, something like... something like that. You can see, like, for one bar, it pays dividends to try that once in a while. So get creative with your combos. And... oh, I can try one last thing. I'm sorry. I want to get into character weight. So characters, smaller characters like Koichi, Shigechi, Iggy, and sometimes Naranja are easier to juggle. I'll see if I can do this. Oh yeah. So this is a combo that's only possible on smalls. Alright, I can jump after that. Sorry, it's been a while. Come on. I got it this time. Oh boy. You get the picture. So when you start thinking about things like this, combo variety opens up. As long as you have a different goal. I showed you at least 6 different types of combos just with Jonathan. So keep that in mind. And I don't know if anyone's still watching, but I hope that helped a bit. And you can go back to the VOD and watch that. And I'll see how the footage looks if I can splice it and make a YouTube vid out of it. But now let's do us some matches.